Todd Hetty, and tonight I want to talk to you about that all too familiar concept of freaking out during an open water swim. I've seen people new to swimming who it's kind of understandable. They haven't been swimming that well, they're not all that comfortable anyway, and they go out and they're in open water for the first time, and there's a lot of issues. I get it. But then there's that whole other group who have been running and biking and swimming in a pool for years, and they have that same thing happen to them when they first swim in open water. And then there's that other group who never become comfortable with open water. They've been swimming for years and years, and still that open water for some reason really freaks them out. It's so debilitating to certain points that there are athletes out there who have, like I said, swam and biked and ran for years and years, swam on masters swim teams even, and then they go out and they swim and they have an attack. We'll call it a panic attack, to the point where they'll go to the doctor, and the next thing you know, they've been diagnosed with exercise-induced asthma and they've got an inhaler. Now, if you've been swimming in a pool for years and, you know, hard workouts and that kind of stuff, and you go out and swim in an open water and you have a problem that you've never had before, in my opinion, chances of it just being a instant onset of a disease like, I'm assuming it's a disease, exercise-induced asthma is probably not what happened to you. It's probably just a common panic attack. It happens to a lot of people. I've seen very proficient people in the open water who have swam in lakes and ponds and stuff their whole life, go out and train, never have an issue, and then put on a wetsuit for the first time. The constriction is something they're not used to, and they have the exact same thing. They, short of breath, the whole works. It's not a medical issue or anything else. It's just a matter of comfort. And one of the funniest things I see about the whole issue is I see this a lot on forums and stuff. People will post about being uncomfortable in open water swims, and I read the responses to their posts, and it seems like it's just another list of reasons they should be uncomfortable. Not a lot of help. But my answer to it, as it's always been, is to get used to the swimming, not by swimming, but by playing. You know, take some friends, get a boat, rent a boat, you know, get a pontoon boat, get a bunch of friends out there, and just get out in the water and splash around. You know, if you're not comfortable with your wetsuit, same thing, put your wetsuit on. I mean, do you know how well you can float? Now, I'm not suggesting this at all, but, you know, it's easy to float in the water and drink a beer if you've got a wetsuit on. Like I said, not recommending it, but it does work. So that's my advice to those who are dealing with a lot of open water issues, is just get a bunch of friends and go hang out. You know, splash around in the water, float, swim from the boat to your friends and back. You know, don't ever think of it as work or as scary. Think of it as something you do for fun. Instead of trying to be doing your first open water in a triathlon itself, do a standalone open water swim as far as your first race goes. You know, in a triathlon, not only do you have to worry about the fears you've got with the open water and everything, you've got to think about, so I've got to do this, and then I've got to get out, I've got to transition, I've got to get on my bike, I've got all this in front of me. Just do a swim, you know, where that's the one thing you can focus all your attention and energies on that. And then you can add it to a triathlon once you get comfortable in it, doing it that way. Head first performance, for example, we've started doing some open water swims. We did it with our Tri-Fest back in the spring, and we'll be doing it again with our upcoming Land Sharks triathlon. There's plenty of other open water swims around. Not plenty, it's something you've got to really kind of look for to find. But if you search on the internet, you'll find some open water swims around. So that would be my suggestion. Play around, get used to the water, overcome your fears that way, and then do an open water swim that's a standalone event, not in a multi-sport event. Check us out on Head First Performance, and you can see the upcoming Land Sharks triathlon or the 1,500 meter swim that's going to be involved in that, or look around at some others. But I hope this helped out a little bit and just didn't really piss off the people that do have the uncomfortability with, uncomfortability, is that a word? I don't know. that are uncomfortable with the open water swim, and I hope to see you at the next race. Thanks a lot.